Wow, wow, wow. America is a country of plutocracy, not democracy.
A plutocracy is a country or society governed by the wealthy. Do you think the U.S. is now a plutocracy? I believe the United States of America is a plutocratic oligarchy masquerading as a democracy where the wealthy and powerful control government, the economy, and everything else. The pretense of democracy is only there to give people a false sense that they have some say in how things are run so the people won't band together and start using guillotines again. Give the illusion of power to the people so we don't exercise our real power. With many leaders showing their age recently, a previously, somewhat obscure word, gerontocracy, meaning, a government, ruled by the elderly, is popping up everywhere. President Biden, frontrunner among 2024 Democratic presidential candidates, celebrated his 80th birthday in November, becoming the first octogenarian to occupy the Oval Office. Senator Dianne Feinstein, DCA, is 90 and has missed significant time at work due to shingles complications. Recently, 81-year-old Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, RKY, froze for an uncomfortable
weaponry. Fighting China. So you put it exactly right. The main problem in the United States is we have become a plutocracy, massive inequality, a lot of people suffering. No one pays any attention to that. It's not the Republicans, not the Democrats, period. So even when they, quote, revitalize the U.S. economy in the Biden fashion, what are they doing? It's more corporate tax cuts for everything. So everything is basically, we'll give tax cuts for, building semiconductors. We'll give tax cuts for renewable energy, whatever it is. But the whole modus operandi is corporate driven top to bottom. So we're just exacerbating the inequalities. And the real telltale point of all of this is not the GDP, it's life expectancy, which has been falling for a decade in the United States now. We're back to the life expectancy of the mid-1990s. People in the United States are ill, they're not getting taken care of, they don't have access to decent nutrition, they don't have access to healthcare services. That's not even on the agenda. What's on the agenda? The war in Ukraine, Taiwan weaponry, fighting China. So you put it exactly right. The main problem in the United States is we have become a plutocracy, massive inequality, a lot of people suffering. No one pays any attention to that. It's not the Republicans, not the Democrats.
Used on the job. During a press conference, why are American politicians so old? The debate around gerontocracy, or a government based on the rule of old people, is being brought back up as two of America's oldest politicians, Senators Mitch McConnell and Dianne Feinstein, make headlines after videos caught them being seemingly confused on the job. During a press conference, McConnell, who is 81 years old and has a history of medical episodes, unexpectedly froze mid-sentence. A day later, Feinstein, who is 90 years old, seemingly forgot how to vote yes on a bill, with her colleagues rushing to her side.
Yeah, just say aye. Okay, just aye.
Feinstein was also criticized earlier in the year after taking a 3-month hiatus from the Senate due to health issues, with many in her own party suggesting that she should step down as she wasn't present to vote. In fact, America's current Senate body is the oldest in history, hitting a median age of 65 years old. And to be clear, while the median age is that of a boomer, Feinstein and McConnell are not part of that generation, but are actually part of the silent generation, or those born between 1925 to 1945. Also in the silent generation is President Joe Biden, who is the only American president to turn 80 in office. If he wins the 2024 election and serves a full term, he'll be 85 years old when he leaves the White House. It's been a main point of attack for Republicans, who have used Biden's seeming confusion on several occasions as a reason to impeach him. But former President Donald Trump isn't young either. He was born in 1946, the first year of the boomer generation. For context, the global average age of elected officials sits at 53 years old. Why are American politicians so old? The debate around gerontocracy, or a government based on the rule of old people, is being brought.
Study how the American political system operates and how the Chinese political system operates. Beneath the surface, what you see is something quite different. So the United States, for example, functionally has gone from being a democracy towards becoming a plutocracy. Now, this is a very fundamental change. I want to emphasize I'm not the only one saying this. The late Paul Volcker said this, the Nobel laureate Joseph Stiglitz says this, Martin Wolf says this, and the danger of becoming a plutocracy is that decisions are made in the society not to benefit 100% of the people, but to benefit the top 10 to 20% only. And the data therefore shows that in the United States, actually the United States is the only major developed country where the average income of the bottom 50% has remained stagnant for decades, and other social indicators indicate lots of problems in the society. Life expectancy has come down. This never happens in developed societies. And if you look at the poverty rates and what Angus Deaton, the Nobel laureate, called deaths by despair, they're rising in the United States. So the United States, in that sense, is not a well-functioning democracy, and that's why as a result of there being so much anger in the body politic, you get populism surfacing, Donald Trump winning the elections in 2016, and let's hope he doesn't win in 2024. Unfortunately, the chances of him winning are not zero. So that
U.S. politics is basically a plutocratic state where public policy has been taken over by several powerful lobbies, each one devoted to its specific area. And they keep the control over U.S. policy through campaign contributions, because our election campaigns are funded by billionaires and by corporate lobbies. And they cost about $15 billion now for an election cycle. And so what are the lobbies? Wall Street controls financial policy, and our health lobby controls our unbelievably expensive private so-called health system, and our ag lobby controls the food industry with about 60% obesity or overweight in the United States, another huge, very serious public health crisis. And the military-industrial complex controls foreign policy. Not just military policy, foreign policy. So we have perpetual war and trillion-dollar military budgets. On the revenue side, we have unanimous agreement among the billionaires. Don't tax us. It's very simple. So we have a low tax collection in the United States, and this spending on the military, for example, which has cost about $6 trillion in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and some of the other wars. $6 trillion. It's a lot, by the way. U.S. politics is basically a plutocratic state where public policy has been taken over by several powerful lobbies, each one devoted to its specific area.
Hello friends, we come to the end already. Have you subscribed yet? Yes, press the subscribe button and the like button and the share button. Thank you and have a nice day.